Hi everybody, this is Randy from Randy's Crafty Creations, and I'm coming to you today with a video with the Emboss Resist technique to make this really pretty Sending Wishes Your Way card. So I just did a live where I did this one, and I used the technique two different ways. So with this one I used a water brush, my Aqua Painter, and with this one I used my sponge daubers. And I'm going to show you both, and then we'll make one card together. So let me show you everything we're going to be using. Our colors today are going to be Calypso Coral, Pear Pizzazz for the stamping, but Old Olive for the cardstock. All right, we're going to cut our ovals with our stitched oval framelits. And these come with stitched circles, ovals, and squares all in one set. Okay, and then our layering ovals. The stitched ovals fit perfect with our layering ovals as well. So we're going to use those. And I already have those pre-cut out. I have another video on my blog or here on my YouTube channel if you want to look at it using the Big Shot. And that's what I use to do it. So we're also going to be using our Versamark ink pad, and that's for our embossing. We're going to be using Pear Pizzazz and Calypso Coral. All right, we're going to be using our embossing buddy before we emboss to make sure that we don't get embossing powder any of the places that we don't want it. All right, we're going to use a couple of sponge daubers. We're going to use our white Stampin' Emboss powder. We're going to use our Aqua Painter. You're going to need a pair of tweezers, because to heat emboss the oval when we do it is going to be hot, so we definitely want to have some tweezers handy. We are using the Butterfly Basics stamp set, okay, and it has this really pretty fern on it, and I don't know why I didn't see this stamp set before. It was in last year's catalog, but I just noticed it. We're going to use these flowers here. We're going to use the sentiment Sending Wishes Your Way, and we're going to use this fern to create this card. All right, we're going to put our flowers on block I, our fern on block H, and our sentiment fits great on block C. What's nice about our blocks is they have this finger groove, so you can grab it and really get a nice grip on it. So we're going to do that. We're going to use our Stampin' Pierce mat as a mat to stamp on, since we're using our photopolymer stamps. Let me zoom out just a little bit more. Sorry, because we're using our photopolymer stamps. So we're going to use that. We're going to use our heat tool, and you want some scrap paper. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stamp my background in Pear Pizzazz. Okay, and I am stamping that on a piece of Whisper White cardstock. And my piece of Whisper White is cut at 3 3/4 by 5. All right, so let's go ahead and get that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp it regular strength, and then I'm going to stamp it off. So I want to get the two-tone look to the fern. All right, so, and I'm just going haphazard. There's no rhyme or reason to the way I'm stamping. So stamp one for it to be nice and crisp, and then we're going to stamp off so that we get that lighter image. Okay, I'm going to dip into my ink again. Stamp on, stamp off, and I'm just doing it randomly. But I'm going to do it at the bottom of the page, and I'm going to descend just a little bit, and then I'll come back up. And part of that's going to be covered anyway once we put our oval in there. But I just want to make sure that I will have my whole area covered when I put my oval on there. So that's why I just wanted to go ahead and stamp all that now. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and move that aside. All right, I'm going to take my Sending Wishes Your Way, and I'm going to stamp that right about there. Hopefully it's in the right spot. And I did that in the Pear Pizzazz as well. So I'm using Pear Pizzazz ink, but I'm using Old Olive cardstock, and they go well together. All right, so I'm going to put this away for right now, and I'm going to move this card for right now too, because we'll come back to that card base in a minute. So I did this earlier with my water brush, but I'm going to show you, we're going to go ahead and do 2 for the video, so I can show you both ways that I colored, and then we'll pick one to put on the card. All right, so I'm going to leave a piece of scrap paper there. We are going to stamp in Versamark, and what the Versamark does, it's a watermark pad, and it stays nice and juicy and wet. And what it does is it makes it so that the embossing powder, when you put it on there, will stick. And we want it to stick. Okay? And it stays wet for a while. Now, before we do that, I almost forgot again. I forgot when I did the live too. I'm going to take my embossing buddy, and my embossing buddy has some powder in it, and what it does is it reduces the static so that when I put my embossing powder on it, my embossing powder doesn't stick in places that I don't want it to be. All right, so now I'm going to take my flower that I inked up, and I'm going to stamp one, and I'm going to push it down kind of hard because I want to get a nice impression, so I get a good embossed surface. All right, I know you can't see it, but I can see that it is, let me try. I don't know if you can see it, but I can see that it's kind of wet. All right, so we're going to leave that there for a second. We're going to do the other one, and then we'll get the embossing powder on both of them at the same time. Okay, and let me come down here. All right. Great, and I can see that I've got the Versamark in both places. So now I'm going to take a clean piece of scrap paper, and I'm going to lay these ovals in there. All right, and I'm going to pour my embossing powder on. And you want to do it this way because then you can go ahead and you can just clean it up right away and put it right back in the container, because it doesn't take much. This little container will go a really long way. All right, I don't know if you can see. Can you see the embossing powder on there? We're embossing in white, and we're embossing in white because that makes this resist technique really stand out. And I am messy with the embossing powder. I have one spot there. Is it going to cover? Yeah, okay. All right, great. So now let me go ahead and pour it back in the container. I have a trash can right under my table, so I'm not throwing things on the floor quite yet. Anyhow, okay. Let me go ahead and grab my tweezers. Pop one up there. All right, you're gonna want, because it's a small piece, you're gonna want something to hold it. All right, I'm gonna use my Stampin' Up heat tool. It's got 2 settings on it, so I'm gonna let it warm up for a second. I'm gonna bring it up here because I want you to be able to see when it starts to change color. So I'm gonna heat it up. Some people go back and forth with their heat tool like it's a hair dryer. You don't need to do that. But as soon as you see it start to change color, it'll get shiny. There it goes. Can you see it? It's starting to melt, and it'll melt and it'll set. See, I'm just following the design. All right, that's one. Let me grab the other one. And this one's not taking as long. You cannot use a hair dryer. A hair dryer does not get hot enough. It will curl your paper, but it won't melt your embossing powder. So you actually need a heat tool. Like I said, I like ours because it has a dual speed. Not a dual speed, but dual heat. But you'll definitely need a heat tool to do this. I also like ours because it has this guard on it and the guard doesn't get hot. I've burned my fingers before. Anyhow, all right, so now we have these pieces that are embossed. Hopefully you can see that. And like I said, I embossed them in white because we're going to go ahead and do the resist technique. So one of the techniques is using a sponge dauber. So you'll take your ink pad, you'll open it up, you'll take your sponge dauber, and I label mine, and then I just keep reusing it, and you'll dip it in your ink, okay? And then you'll go ahead and you'll just go over your design, and the ink will stick to the paper, but it will not stick to where you have the embossing powder. So it creates this halo effect almost. But you won't get any ink, and the white embossing powder will show through, which is kind of nice. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get my Calypso coral out. I'm going to leave that open, and I'll show you why in a minute. So I'm going to get my Calypso coral out, and I'm going to do my flowers. And see, you get that nice soft look in your flowers. And you can go darker if you want to go darker. But there. So see how the white design is popping out of that? Should I zoom in on that? All right, so see how the white design is popping out on that? All right, so now we're going to color in this one with our Aqua Painter. And that's why I left my ink pads open. So if you take your ink pad when it's closed and you squeeze it, you will get ink up here in the lid. Okay, and that's where we're going to draw from with our Aqua Painter. All right, so I need a little bit more green in mine, so I'm just going to squeeze it. Well, that didn't work. All right, there's some there. So I've got some green and some of the coral. All right, so I'm going to take my Aqua Painter and I'm going to go into my color, and I'm just going to move it around to get as much or as little as I want. Okay, and then I'm going to come into my design, and you can see that the color is going on, again, the white cardstock, but where the embossing is, it's resisting it and having it pull up so that I can turn around and I can take my finger and clean it off there. But so the color is only going on the white cardstock that's through the embossing area. And it gives you that nice watercolor look. I prefer this method over the first method, but everybody is different. I just like it a little more precise in there. But like I said, everybody is different. And that's the best part about crafting, right? Because everybody does it a little bit differently. All right, so that's what I'm gonna have done in coral. Okay, so now I'm gonna take my green, and all I did was wipe my water brush off, honestly, on my hand. I do that a lot. In between the coral and the green, and now I'm gonna work on the green. So same thing. I'm just gonna come in down here. And I'm going to try to stay in the stem there. But your ink pads double as watercolor palettes. You can use it with our blender pen. And the blender pen solution with the ink pads gives you something to paint with. Very versatile. They're nice. And then this way all your colors all go together. So I apologize that I haven't had a video in 2 weeks. We had high school graduations, we had recitals. It has been crazy around here. And it is finally summer vacation, so I can play a little bit again. All right, there we go. All right, so now I can wipe off with my finger or a rag, but anyhow, the color is just in my design, just touching my paper, but the white is showing through. So kind of neat. A little messy right here. Let me just fix this. And you can always go back over it because you're using your water brush. So you can always go back over it. There, that's a little bit better. All right, awesome. So let's go ahead and let's put this card together. So now comes the question, which one should we use? So I have one card that I made with the one with the sponge daubers, and one card that I made with the one with the water brush. And which one should we do for this one? All right, what do I have over here? I have my water brush one from earlier over here too. And then I have some extra pieces. All right, so let's go ahead and let's put this together. All right, so I'm going to take my card topper, put some adhesive on that, on top of my old olive cardstock. Okay, and then I'm going to put that on top of my Calypso Coral cardstock. And then I couldn't decide earlier. So I was playing with my layered ovals. So this one I did scalloped. This one I did plain. I don't know which one I'm going to use this time. Let's see. Well, I'm going to use that watercolor design, I think. So should I do that on this one? Actually, I think I want to use this watercolor design. I think. And I'm going to do it on that one. And we'll pop it up right there. All right, so let me put this away. Put this away. Oh, let me put this piece on first, because I'm going to use dimensionals on the other one. All right, so let's go ahead and put this on that oval. Okay, let me get some of my dimensionals. I don't know if you guys have seen in our new catalog, we have, and it would not be good for this project, but plenty of other projects I do, but we have mini dimensionals, and they are so cute. They're right here. Can you see them? Look how tiny they are. You get 720 in the package. So 3 sheets, 720. Great size. There's lots of things I do where I need mini glue dots, and I am really excited about those. Same thing, they're $4. So when you place an order, just go ahead and stick them on there. You can place an order with me for anything at randycollins.stampinup.net. If you have any questions and you'd like to email me, you can email me at randycollins.247@gmail.com. And if you want to check out my other projects, you can visit my Randy's Crafty Creations Facebook page. You can visit randyscraftycreations.com. I have things posted on my blog all the time. I have a special going on for the month of June, and that is that if you place an order of $150 or more, I will send you the consumables to be able to make 2 of these tulip cards that I made in an earlier video. You can scroll down and take a look. But this is made with one of our hostess sets, Tranquil Tulips, and that's why I say if you spend $150 or more, because then you can earn that stamp set for free, and I'll send you the consumables to be able to go ahead and make those. All you need is the stamp set and the ink pads, and I'll send you the cardstock. So, and I'll send that to the address on record with Stampin' Up. So that's what, if you place an order. If you place any order at any time, I will always send you a handmade thank you card, because I appreciate you being one of my customers. Also, if you're a new customer and you haven't shopped with me before, once you place your first order, I'll go ahead and I'll send you out a new catalog with that thank you note as well, because I really appreciate you being one of my customers. And I don't know if you're like me, but I love to go through all the pages and go back and forth over and over again and dog ear them, highlight them with what I've got, what I want. So I'll send you a paper catalog with that. But again, if you could subscribe to my channel, that would be great. Then this way you won't miss any of my videos. But anyhow, I wanted to bring you this Emboss Resist video today. I hope you enjoyed it. I used the Butterfly Basics stamp set. And thanks for watching. So again, I'm Randy from Randy's Crafty Creations, and have a great day.